built on grace and from above. Through storms that shake, through skies that clear, His hand We've walked through sunshine, we stood in rain. We've danced in joy and we've wept through pain. Through every valley, through every climb, a love eternal stands the test of time. Faithful and forever love, built on grace and from above. Through storms that shake, through skies that clear, His hand has held us year by year.
Hey, what's up, Ray?
We're in a different time today.
Yes, we are. I know it says noon, but obviously it's not noon. And so...
well, it's noon somewhere.
It's noon somewhere, correct? And y'all are interrupting my dinner. But anyway, here we are. How long do we?
Well, you done. You finished.
Yeah, all right, come on. That little piece on the side.
Oh,
Hey, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Marriage Encounter with Bill and Michelle. It is not noon, it is not Monday, and y'all know this is crazy.
it's not Monday or Tuesday.
Time zone is messed up. What? Hey, we're
We
here to
just
drop
want to give
knowledge.
you. So y'all saw that we were at that I was at the Capitol yesterday, so we couldn't do it yesterday, and so we just decided we were going to give you a bonus. Bonus just happens to be a different day and a different time.
You was at the Capitol?
I
Where was I at?
was under a house or something.
I was doing something. I was busy saving the world. You know how that is.
But bringing
Anyway.
somebody, bringing somebody.
Oh,
in.
I did go ahead. I did have
So you was bringing somebody in.
deal with that. But anyway, hey, what's up? We are here, Marriage Encounter with Michelle. We are rocking through February. This is week number 2.
Can you believe it?
Yes.
Week number 2. It's birthday week.
His hand has held
It's birthday week.
Free my strength is Lord.
Whatever. I didn't even ask for it.
She did not, which is crazy. She didn't ask for nothing. I've asked her 4 times, what do you want for your birthday? She said, I don't know. I don't know. I guess when you got everything, you just don't know. So anyway, but I will come up with something. I'll come up with something for the 15th, just so I'll remain in good graces and all that kind of stuff. We'll figure out something between now and then. You know, they've got fishing poles on sale.
I bet they do.
Or maybe we'll take a cruise through the boat and RV show. I think so. Maybe not. Maybe it's the hunting fish show. One of them shows. Anyway, but hey, Marriage Encounters. Family. Welcome to February. We talked about foundations in January. Those of you that are familiar with it. We went down into the basement. We're in the subterranean zone. We're digging up stuff in the basement and laying a sure foundation so that we can stack stuff on top of it and it'll stand the test of time. So that's where we're at now. And guess what? We out in the basement, y'all.
Yeah, back upstairs.
Back upstairs.
Remember, it's about the heart of the house. You can see that kind of at the top of our screen. It is about the heart of the house because we live in the same space. And still, sometimes, very, very far apart. So, when we start to look at that, let's be honest, lots of people are together every day, but not really with each other. We're in the same house, in the same routines, we're doing all of the same things, but we are not we're not doing what we're supposed to do.
Yep. We're not connected. And a lot of times we're not connected because everybody's doing their own thing with these devices right here. You know, but every now and then you need to put the phone down and pick up your spouse. Not literally, but at least engage with them. Come on now, we are controlled by something that is external. And I think that if you're going to build a strong foundation And now then, you got to put this down, right? And talk to people with your face.
So last week we talked about connections. That's why we started with that. We talked about connections. This week we are going to talk about our second C. You can kind of see them on there, and that is care. Okay, because connection might get your attention, but care is what keeps the love steady and flowing.
Right.
Are we connected? We connected and we care. All right.
Hey, I'm a care bear.
Back in the day, which one are you? Purple and blue.
I didn't even know what they were.
They were pink, purple, blue, and purple, blue, and maybe green. All right, so let's be honest. A lot of couples are doing the task, paying the bills, all this stuff, running the schedule, handling these responsibilities. But care isn't just about what you do; it's about how do you make your other person feel.
Because look at it like this: you can be faithful and still feel unseen. You can be committed and still feel unsupported. That's why care and caring for one another is so critical. Because most of us, if we're going to be honest, oftentimes feel ostracized or overlooked, or even somewhat invisible, especially when you're going through all of your daily routines. So how do you stop, pivot, pause, and take the opportunity to love on your spouse?
So before we go to that, I think that what you said is important. Sometimes we feel unseen. And, I know that there's a lot of people that feel some kind of way about the Super Bowl show and all of that. But I think, the one thing about it is, and I think last year when it was Kendrick Lamar, it was a different show. There were people that could then say, you know what, I feel seen. I feel seen because I understand what's happening there. And so while all of us don't necessarily speak Spanish and we may not have necessarily knew exactly what he was saying, there was a whole population of people that could say, I was seen. I was heard. Somebody heard, got to see, got to experience who I am. And I think if we're honest, a lot of times we aren't in those same situations.
Well, I think that a lot of times people assume that they know what it feels like to be, I don't want to even go there, but in the skin that you're in, and I don't mean that necessarily caught but in the situation you're in, my son told me, at one time I was talking to him and I said, hey, feel like these employees be talking every time I leave. And he said, Dad, you the boss.
Okay. Right.
Everybody talks about the boss. You the boss, get over it. And it's kind of true. But you don't know what it is to be in that place and in that position. Like, as a matter of fact, you really don't even know what it is to be like in the position of your spouse, not fully. Now, I know that people come on and know you are connected intimately, emotionally, physically, financially, but you cannot jump inside the other person's head and really understand what they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And if they hide it well, you can only assume what's happening. So how do we move from assumption to knowing is connecting and making sure that we have equality conversation, number one, and connecting on a regular basis?
Yeah, because I think assumption, can really be hard because sometimes we, think you know what the person's saying, you think you're hearing, listening, but a lot of times we're just interjecting our own thoughts and our own ideas into what's really happening. I think one of the things that we can do when we think about how do we care for each other is ask, what do you need right now? I think you have started doing a much better job of that. When things are going on, or maybe I'm doing, the 50,000 things that I'm doing. I just said it. I admitted that.
I'm glad you admit it.
Okay, so when I'm doing too much, you will come in and say, hey, what are some things that I can do to take something off your plate?
Right. And or sometimes I would say, look, too much.
Yeah, that doesn't help. much.
All right. So, but I do try and take some things off.
But you will ask that.
Or at least ask. And you know, if my wife says nothing right now, cool, I'm out. No. But if she says, hey, I got it, then that's fine. I'm not going to pester her about it. But at least she knows that what's heavy on her heart, I have the responsibility as her husband to own the piece of that. Through showing her love and care and helping her if I can assist in those times. Right?
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you start to think about that, you know, like, so go back to the whole agreement thing. You know, there are sometimes when our needs change. So what I may have needed before, what I may have wanted before, or what, you know, I think as you evolve, as you grow, as your marriage grows, you can't always assume that what a person needed before in a different season is the same thing that they're going to need in this season. So, you know, what makes a person feel cared for may change over time, which is why you have to have those conversations. I think we'll talk about, you know, the love languages. Those change. You know, whereas younger, you know, kids may have been my thing. As I get older, I may not care about that anymore. Or not anymore, but as much. That may not be my focus. My focus may be more of quality time. You know, or spending time, because when your life changes and when seasons change, there's just, you know, the things that you need and the things that you desire change. So one person may need words, another person may need time, another person may need help, another person may need reassurance. But what do you need, and how do you have that conversation to make sure you understand?
Well, I would agree with you 100%. As you mature, things change. As you look around and you begin to understand that I probably have more life behind me than in front of me. And if you're over the age of like 50 something, you're in the same boat, so don't trip. Right?
Right.
Don't come at me like that. You're in the same boat. But when you begin to realize that, then it makes you want to slow down. And most people, it transitions from things to time, to quality time. And one of the things I talk to my wife about all the time is, let's just be in this moment together. Whatever the moment is, whether we're out working in the garden or on the beach or doing something in the house or whatever it is, you can just be in that moment.
Yeah.
And as a couple, you really need to get this. You need to learn how to just be in the moment, because otherwise the moment's flee and the moment is gone. Right? And that doesn't mean that it's something romantic, something sexual. It might be, it might not be. But whatever it is, be in that moment all in, so that your spouse knows that you are connected and that you're cared. Care doesn't usually show up in the big moments. I just said that. It really doesn't show up in the big moments. It shows up in daily in and out opportunities. Like what? Like checking in. Like noticing, checking on your tone.
I did.
Are you sleeping?
Somebody, not you. So we have this little somebody who woke up, I feel like, every hour on the hour.
This nigga woke up 26 times, man. Oh, okay. I want to go to the restroom. Look, I just took you out there. Okay, back to what I was saying.
So yes, I did yawn, but I'm a little tired. I've been awake for a while.
I got you. Right. So noticing your tone. Oh, this is big for the fellas and the ladies too, because sometimes your tone and you don't even recognize that it's happening, right? And let me give you another. Not only your tone with your voice, but your tone with your expression.
Yeah, your body language
yes,
is pretty telling.
Yeah, you speak more than just what comes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Right? So recognizing your tone on the opportunities to offer help, right? And a big one is just making some space. Create some space for y'all just to hang out and be together, even if you ain't doing nothing.
Or even the space to talk. Like, you know, like do you offer space for your spouse to just get out their feelings? Because here's the thing, and we've talked about this before, that if you don't have a space for us to converse and to share ideas and to get out that stuff, they're going to give it out someplace. And you would prefer that they give it out with you, but they can get it out with, the person at work. But that becomes a dangerous space.
That's incredibly dangerous. We can talk about that on another show. When we talk about that, I'm not holding no punches.
Yeah, we can't be live on Facebook.
No. But I would agree, because what you're saying is the opportunity to vent or offload. Maybe it's an easier term.
Yeah.
And perhaps when you come in, you need to offload some things that happen during your day. Sometimes I offload in the morning before we get rolling. Hey, this is where I'm going to be challenged today. Let's pray about it now. And what that does is it invites an opportunity for when we reconnect back at home for my wife to ask, how did the day go? As a matter of fact, she asked me when I came in today, did you get everything accomplished? Did you want to get accomplished? That was a big no. I did. But the fact that she was concerned about enough to ask is what a connected point and a caring moment. Remember, live in the moments.
Yeah, so when we think about care says, I see you, I notice that things are not right. Sometimes we don't always know how to say, like often, somebody will ask, oh, hey, are you okay? For most women, we'll say, oh, yeah, I'm fine. Or, oh, I'm good. When really, we're not. Not okay, not fine. Stuff going on. But we don't necessarily know how to process it or share it in a way that doesn't feel like we're whining or doesn't feel like we're complaining. And so you'll just say, no, I'm good. So, can we build those spaces, those emotionally safe spaces for either of us to be able to talk? Again, you talk a lot about, when a man will open up and be vulnerable, that is, an incredibly important time. I think more important than dangerous. Yes, it could be. But if we understand how fragile and how fragile, either of us could be emotionally, then we would do all the things that we can to cradle that opportunity, to cradle that, to put it in, we've all seen those egg crates. How do we do that? Make sure that we are building emotionally safe spaces for either one of us to share our thoughts, to share our heart, to share. Because I think, of course, we know that statistically women say more words. I don't know that that's really true, because I know some yappy men.
I don't know about that. I'm going to say that's 99%.
Well, that's because we give you the background, the front ground, and all of the stuff in between.
And I just want to cut to the chase. Just give me what it is, what we need to do.
I know, but everything is not about fixing. Sometimes I just need to be able to talk about the stuff. I already got the answer. 90% of the time, you already have the answer inside of you. You don't need somebody else to fix it. You just need them to be quiet and listen to you. And to say, yeah, girl, what? Are you serious? They did what?
I guess sometimes you just need somebody to be able to offload. But here's what you need to do. If that's the case, then you need to preface that by saying, I don't need you to answer. I just need you to listen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, Linda, listen.
That way I can turn off the fixer mode in my mind and just listen. But if you don't start it with saying that, hey,
that's very good.
I don't need you to fix this, I just need you to
then
listen.
Your assumption becomes that you're saying this to me because you want me to do something about it.
There you go. So then make sure that you let your spouse off the hook. I said, hey, I don't need you to fix this, but I really just need you to listen. And when you hear that, then do just that. Listen for real.
Listen with your face.
Yeah, listen with your face. Listen for real, so that they can process.
Yeah. All right, this week, have a conversation. No defending, no fixing. One way I feel most cared for is listen sometimes. That could be one of the ways. When you actually listen to me. One way I may have missed caring for you lately is, so what is a way, you're asking your spouse, what is something that I maybe missed that I could have done that would have helped you to feel more cared for? And what is one small thing you could do this week that would help you feel supported? So what is one thing that I could do that would help you? What is one thing I can do for you to help you feel more supported? So each of you need to ask that. So
I'm writing down the list right now of 10 things.
10 things that what?
It will make me feel more cared for. 10 things.
Yeah.
In order of importance. Right? So, and I won't share my list of the but
It's probably not appropriate for public consumption anyway.
age appropriate at all. Right? Well, hey, care grows when we're willing to listen without getting defensive. Wow, that's major. Listen without getting defensive, even when it sounds like it's something that is defensible.
Yeah, I mean, and I think most of the time we do go on defense because we don't ever want to feel like we are wrong.
Well, I think there's one way to clear that up. If you would preface what you're getting ready to say by, hey, I'm going to say this, but it's not slighted towards you or anything. In other words, let the person know that you're getting ready to say something that might cause them to be awkward for a moment. But
they're like saying, I don't mean to be prejudiced, but I'm about to.
it could be.
What I'm about to say, it might be perceived as being prejudiced, but I'm not.
Right. Well, but if you say that, then genuinely make sure that you're not doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
because a whole lot of folks, let me say this.
Because people will say that, and you know what you're about to say. You don't need to say.
Well, and a whole lot of folks, especially church folks, they'll say something to you, and then they say, "Oh, forgive me, I need to say that." Yes, you did.
Right. So I think,
Yes, you did.
so I think we have to be careful about when we go in. Of course, we want to defend our stance, but I think we have to. I do believe that what you're saying is right. I do think that we have to have conversations. There has to be some parameters set in. Hey, we're going to have a tough conversation. And as we have this tough conversation, I'm not asking you to defend yourself. I'm literally just stating my opinion and what I see. I could be wrong, but this is how I see it.
I agree with that, but then it's a tad bit concerning when you open up with, we need to have a tough conversation. Because that's going to immediately put somebody on defense.
Yeah, that's
so you got to figure out a way not to say.
I know. So that's something, and that may be something that we all need to figure out.
Right.
So y'all shoot back to us what you think. How can you, if you know that you're getting ready to have a tough conversation? How do you word that so that the person doesn't go on immediate defense? So y'all give us some feedback in the comments as to what do you think? What could we say? What do you say? What have you thought or wish someone would have said before you had a conversation that may be a little hard?
Right.
Because in marriage, you do have some hard conversations sometimes.
And if you approach me, I don't just mean you, but with, hey, we need to have a tough conversation. Okay, I just went from 0 to 100 right there.
And maybe your blood pressure is a little elevated, your cortisol levels have... No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about what we were saying that we had to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, immediately that puts you on the defense. So I think something like, hey, let's sit down and have a conversation. It might be tough, it might not be tough. Let's say that. Let's let that be decided after.
Because that can be my assumption. My
That could be your
assumption may be that it's going to be tough. It may not be that.
It might not be a deal. So let's just let it ride. And then was a tough conversation, it was. If it wasn't, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right?
But anyway, in the comments, y'all tell us how, if you're gonna preface the conversation that it's gonna be a little bit difficult. How do you preface that?
So 1 Peter 5:7 says, cast all your cares on him because he cares for you. Cast all of your care, but I got to cast my cares on him.
Yes, please do. Because I can't hold them.
So when you think of that casting, it's almost from the perspective. Remember, this was ancient Greek, Hebrew, whatever it was at that particular time in the book of Peter. Anyway, and they considered it like he would take that. And remember, if you don't know, they didn't have a zip code 2023 or back then. Most fishing was done at night, and it wasn't done at night, it was done early. And they would take, it was 2 ways, they would take the net and throw it out and then draw it back to shore. Or,
so they were scooping up the fish.
They would scoop up the fish. Or 2 boats would drop the net and then loop back together like this and catch everything. So in this model, when they said, cast all your cares on him, they are literally saying, take it and throw it out there. Right? Because when they threw the net, they didn't know what was going to get in there. They didn't know if they was going to get everything or nothing.
They could be getting tires.
They could be getting tires, old bicycles, beer cans, not beer cans, or whatever it was. But the thought process was, I'm going to throw this out, and what happens, happens. So when the scripture says, cast all your cares on him, throw it in God's hands.
Yeah.
And relax that he's got it. All right?
Yeah. God models care and invites us to reflect on our relationship. Are we carrying things that we need to be casting? Are we holding on to some stuff that we really need to just put at the feet of Jesus and not be trying to fix it ourselves?
Right.
Next week we're going to talk about commit. So look at connect, we have care, and the one underneath that is commit. Staying emotionally present, not pulling away.
Committed. Staying in there, hanging in there, even in seasons of dryness, seasons of overflow, seasons of abundance, choosing on purpose to hang in there. Right? Every day it's a choice, ladies and gentlemen. Choose ye this day whom you will serve, but choose ye this day if you want to stay connected to your spouse.
Yeah, and I think there's even when we talk about that, we talk that particular scripture talking about God. But do you serve your spouse? Choose you this day whom you're going to serve. Are you going to serve your spouse? Are you going to be there and pour into them and allow them to pour into you?
Right. Because strong marriages don't just connect. They are consistent. They are consistently being connected and reconnected on multiple levels.
On purpose.
Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, financially. We connect on purpose. Right? So, even though it's not Monday, even though it's not noon, we still drop some bombs on y'all tonight. I probably can't even sing that.
No, please don't.
Oh my God, this can't even be a normal person. Because if I sing words,
then it's a copyright infringement.
But hey, as we always say, build your relationship, faith,
fun,
and forever love. And y'all know how we get down. We do it doggy style.
And we will see y'all later.
On Monday, for real next time.
Yeah, next week it'll be on Monday. It'll be after my birthday. It'll be President's Day, so some of y'all will be off work. So come and see us at noon. Bye.
We've walked through sunshine.